I could not imagine my kids growing up without macaroni and cheese. So I knew I had to create a vegan macaroni and cheese recipe that would be as good or even better than the macaroni and cheese I grew up with. But growing up in Missouri, I knew I couldn't make one of those stir together kind of boxed macaroni and cheeses. I had to make a real deal baked macaroni and cheese like Grandma used to make. I created this recipe for my kids over 25 years ago, and I've served it to literally hundreds of kids and adults, and it definitely is a winner. It's super easy to make. There's no roux involved. There's no vegan cheese or fake cheese involved. We're making a cashew cheesy cream sauce to bake it in, and it's going to be fantastic. But the first thing we need to do is get our noodles cooking. But I want to talk to you for a minute about pasta before we get that started. You can use whatever pasta you want for this macaroni and cheese. There's obviously the traditional elbow pasta that you can use, or you can do something a little bit healthier and do a chickpea pasta. The trick with the chickpea pasta is you want to cook it about half the time that it calls for, because when this goes into the oven, it's going to cook again and it will get a little mushy. You can also use a protein pasta like this. This macaroni has added protein, it has added fiber, and so it'll add a lot of nutrition to your meal if you choose to do that. I do not recommend a whole wheat pasta because, at least at the beginning, because it does have a stronger flavor and it may be put off to the kids. Let's get the pasta cooking and then we'll start making our cashew cheesy sauce. We're going to start with 1 cup of cashews. Now, people are going to tell you, or you're going to see a lot of recipes online, a lot of videos where people tell you have to soak your cashews overnight or soak them in hot water or boil them. That's totally unnecessary. I have been making this recipe for 25 years and I have never once soaked my cashews. Cashews are soft and they blend up really nicely. It might take a little while depending on your blender. If you're using one of those bullet kind of blenders, they will not blend as smoothly as they will in a regular blender, so keep that in mind. We're going to add a half a cup of oil. Now, if you do not want to use the oil, you don't have to. You can use another half a cup of cashews here, but I like the oil because cheese is oily and it gives you more of the right texture, and you're cutting the fat and the oil and the cholesterol quite a bit just by making a vegan one. So I feel like the half cup of oil is fine, spread out across, 10 servings, right? The next ingredient is pimentos or roasted red peppers. Now the pimentos come in a small jar like this, but I don't really use those because they tend to be more expensive. I like to buy the roasted red peppers, or if you can find them, the pimentos come in a big can. I'll buy the big can of them and I'll freeze them in chunks. So I always have them measured out into half cup measurements. Then we need a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast flakes, which add a lot of cheesy flavor. They are available online. They're available a lot of times in the regular grocery store these days. I'll put a link in the description box below so you can see which ones I'm using. Next ingredient is lemon juice. It adds a nice tartness to our cheese. We need some salt. We need some garlic powder. And we also need some onion powder. So we need to add 4 cups of water, and that will be all the ingredients for our cheesy sauce. Whoops, that's messy. I'm just going to add 2 cups of water for now. I'm going to show you a little trick to keep you from wasting any of this great cheesy sauce. Let's go ahead and... All right, it takes at least 2 minutes to get that blended smooth. Let's see how it looks. Here's a trick to seeing if it's blended smoothly. You are going to put your spoon in there and you're going to see if you see how there's a little graininess there? We want to blend that up just a little bit longer, okay? So there's our cheesy sauce. We'll check it one more time. Yep, that's much better. So we're going to grab our macaroni and we are going to pour the macaroni over, or pour the cheese. We're just going to pour the cheesy sauce over the macaroni. And remember whoops, forgot that falls out of this blender here. Remember we still have 2 cups of water left. I'm going to use that 2 cups of water to rinse out this blender and get all the goodies out, okay? So we're going to just do a quick blend. It's not locked in place. There we go. There we go. Now that cleans out all of the extra pieces from the blender, and we'll give that a stir. And that's really all there is to making this macaroni and cheese. We're going to put this in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. Believe it or not, this is going to get nice and thick and creamy as it cooks. So let's put this into the oven. I'll see you in about an hour. You are going to love this. This delicious macaroni and cheese is ready for supper. Let's get a plate. Look at that creamy mac and cheese. It's fantastic. I like to serve my macaroni and cheese with broccoli and baked beans. It makes for a hearty and delicious supper. Let me give it a try. That is so good. It's rich and creamy, just like macaroni and cheese should be. There's just a couple things you need to know about this macaroni and cheese. It's best fresh out of the oven. So if you want to make it ahead of time, go ahead and make your noodles ahead of time and make your sauce ahead of time. And then right before you bake it, put it together and then put it in the oven and serve it fresh. But if you do happen to have some leftovers, if you take a spoonful of this macaroni and cheese and put it into a bowl of chili, you have got the best lunch ever. Or leftover supper. If you need a chili recipe, check out this one right here.